In the second section of the series, The Road to Faith, we'll be discussing shame. Some people are not afraid of the storm. They are afraid of being exposed. They are afraid of shame. They fear that if someone knew everything about them, that they would be rejected. Perhaps they fear rejection from people. Perhaps they have already experienced it. My father rejected me. My mother humiliated me. If they treat me the same way, perhaps God would treat me the same way. These people ask, is there any grace and mercy for me too? A life of shame. There is a woman. She has no name, but she has a story. 12 years of constant bleeding. Not 12 days, 12 months, but 12 years. According to Leviticus 15, a woman in this condition was considered unclean, socially excluded, religiously isolated. But you must understand something even deeper. Everything she touched became unclean. Anyone who touched her became unclean. She was not merely sick. People saw her as a danger to everyone around her. Now imagine her life. No embraces, no physical closeness, no temple, no community. For 12 years, her identity had become the unclean woman. Now the text says that she had spent everything she had and she had not improved. She had no money, no solution, no hope. That is shame. Shame is not only about what you have done, shame is about what you believe you are. Now, hidden shame. Some people come to church, they smile, they serve, they speak well. But deep inside, they believe that if anyone saw everything, that person would leave. They do not necessarily reject God. They are simply convinced that God would reject them. A modern story that closely resembles the experience of the woman in Mark 5 is the story of Zainab Kalimala. For years, she lived with severe bleeding, pain, nausea, and anemia. She went to doctors, but she was essentially told that she was exaggerating. She was told that it was depression, that it was irritable bowel syndrome, that it was normal. She did not only carry a physical problem, she also carried the burden of not being believed. That is what shame does. It does not only hurt you, it pushes you into the shadows. This is exactly what we see in Mark 5. This woman did not have an illness. She had carried 12 years of stigma, isolation, silence, and illness. The action is timid faith. Now the text says she heard about Jesus. That is where it begins. Faith comes through hearing. But what does she do? She does not come to the front. She does not cry out. She does not publicly ask for help. She comes secretly. The crowd surrounds Jesus. People press against one another. She should not even be there. According to the ceremonial law, anyone she touches becomes unclean, but she keeps moving. She slips through the crowd. She comes closer. She bends down and she touches him. That is all. She says, if I can only touch his garment, I will be healed. Her understanding is not legally or theologically perfect. Her actions did not perfectly reflect the requirements of Leviticus, but her faith was real. Zondervan emphasizes this truth. Faith does not have to be perfect to be effective. It must be directed toward Christ. Now the key moment as power goes out. Immediately, she felt that she had been healed. Then the text says, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. This is not magic. It is active divine power. Now pay attention to the theology in the passage. In Leviticus, uncleanness spreads through touch. But here, purity spreads through touch. She does not contaminate Jesus, Jesus cleanses her. That changes everything. The tension is exposure. Jesus stops. Who touched me? He does not ask because he lacks information. He asks because he wants to give her something more than physical healing. He wants complete restoration. Had she simply walked away, she would have been physically healed. But she would have remained hidden. She would have remained ashamed. She would have remained without a restored identity. Jesus will not allow that. He does not heal only her body. He also heals her identity. The confessions, the hardest moment. She came in fear and trembling. This is the real fear. It is no longer fear of the disease. It is fear of being exposed. Then she tells him the whole truth. Not half of it, not the edited version, everything. Now an illustration is most people do not run away from God because they do not believe in him. They run because they do not want to be exposed. But here's the paradox of the gospel. Healing begins when you stop hiding. Now the climax here. Jesus says, daughter. This is the only time in the Gospel of Mark when Jesus addresses someone in this way. He does not call her woman. He does not call her sick person. He calls her daughter. This is the language of relationship, the language of belonging, the language of restoration. Before he resolves her social status, he redefines her identity. She is no longer the unclean woman. She is daughter. Your faith has saved you, says the text. This is more than physical healing. The word carries the deeper idea of complete salvation and restoration. Then Jesus says to her, go in peace. She does not only leave without disease, she leaves without shame, with peace. Now the central idea is Christ is not contaminated by your shame. He heals it and transforms it into a new identity. Some application may look like this. Shame does not have to keep you away from Christ. It should lead you to him. You think you must clean yourself before you come, but the text says, come while you are unclean. Faith may begin timidly, as we saw in the text, but it must come eventually into the light. Do not remain hidden. God does not only heal the problem, he changes your identity. He does not merely resolve the situation, he restores the person. The greatest miracle is not healing, it is relationship. She does not merely leave healthy, she leaves as a daughter. In conclusion, the road to faith passes through the storm, then it passes through shame. In both places, Christ does not withdraw. He comes closer. The question is, will you remain hidden or will you come to him? Because when you come, you will not hear, go away. You will hear, daughter or son.